Good morning. Welcome to Shortcuts for Your Soul. It's Wednesday, February the 23rd, 2022. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today we're going to be talking about altering your body's frequency. I have the energy of a being by the name of Lord Krishna with me on altering the frequency of your body. And I think you're going to find this very fascinating. Your body is not you. It is simply the mechanism that you use while you are in this experience of being. Because this is all this is an experience of being. It can be very easy to misunderstand or misidentify yourself with that form that you call your body. Yet it is supposed to function in alignment with you, your objectives, and your purposes as a sentient consciousness, as a soul, a spirit, a consciousness, an entity. That the body has very preset functions to it that will remain constant unless you learn to alter and change them deliberately and intentionally. It is a very simple thing to do. There are practical things. Being among the natural world is very important for retuning your body to the divine frequency. For that is what you are capable of doing. The body in and of itself is incapable of tuning itself to anything other than what it is. It requires your deliberate and intelligent interaction with it in order for it to change. It is incapable of altering and changing itself out of the pre-existing conditions into which it was created in this physical dimension. You are more than able to alter your body's frequency. You do it all of the time, except most of you are unaware that you are doing this. For if you were aware, you'd be much more mindful about what you were being aware of and how it would impact the frequency of your body. But for today, I came to this one simply to say the attuning of the body in and of itself is threefold. The first is what it is you are interacting the body with. That is, what do you place your body in interaction with? In nature, in air, in water. What do you have your body interacting with each day that alters and changes its frequency, raises it up so it's more supportive of your purpose here with less distractions from its instinctual side? The instinctual side of the body has its benefits, but only for the purpose of allowing others to perhaps come into this dimension and join you. But fundamentally, the body is simply the vehicle through which you gain valuable understanding of the self, which is what you are, the self that hears these words. The air, the water, the environment in which you place your body can affect and lower or raise its frequency. This becomes even amenable if you understand your absolute authority over that body, but that has to be acquired as an understanding. For many of you are limited the beliefs that hot and cold affect your body in very precise ways, and therefore you are limited in terms of its capability to adjust and change according to environment. But that is a much more evolved purpose. Today's goal is very simple, to give you a fundamental understanding of changing the frequency of the body. This can be done in several ways. The simplest way is to learn to breathe and make sounds in your breath, to become aware of how sound affects the frequency of your body. It is why so many of you are captivated by music and distraction, because they affect and interact with the body's frequency. And your body is highly sensitive. is highly sensitive to frequencies. That frequency can be around as a sound or a sight or a smell or a touch or a taste. It can also be around as a phenomena of light, a phenomena of energy, a phenomena of what you call electromagnetics. You can expose yourself and are being exposed all the time to all of these elements. But if you become more selective at what you would choose to allow the body to be exposed to, you become more conscious of the way in which you can manage its frequency. There are certain foods that you can eat that will promote the raising or lowering of your body's frequency as equally as there are substances you can drink that will raise and lower the frequency of your body. But sound now is very powerful. It can alter the frequency of your body very, very rapidly. It is why the chanting processes were taught. The process of making sound, becoming extremely aware and acute to the effect and impact of certain sounds. There are sounds you can make that are the sounds of language that are pleasing and appealing to the body, will change its frequency. Sounds are very powerful. But do not underestimate the frequency of water, the frequency of air, the frequency of a forest, the frequency of the earth under your feet. All of these things can alter your body's frequency, and it is your duty to become aware of how the body's frequency is being affected by these conditions of environment. Until you understand the nature of your authority over the body, it is important you do understand what is best for it in terms of sound and frequency, what is good for it to consume that will alter its frequency, raise it up. This is important for you to understand until you recognize your role as an authority over that body, as an authority over that body. And there are numbers of you on this world now that are able to change and alter your body's frequency at will, irrespective of environment, and the elements of environment. There are some of you that can alter your body's frequency where an environment may seem very detrimental to the body. Some of you can alter its frequency so that the detriment has absolutely no influence or effect on your body whatsoever. When you understand your role as the authority over that form. But there are simple things that you can do. Simple things that you can do to begin to alter your body's frequency. For many of you, you find yourself caught in the sensations of the body, and in the sensations of the body, you are simply aware of the sensations of the body. In a place of awareness, where you are aware that the sensations of the body are not good or good, and then in that place of awareness, you can begin to make alterations to the frequency, the form. Many of you start off at the fundamental steps of altering what you eat and what you drink, what you think. These are elements that all affect the vibrational frequency of your body that you are able to, at will, alter and change. It becomes quite easy at a certain point. But many of you are so, let me use the word, adulterated by the sensations of the body, that you have forgotten your relationship to the very light that you seek, that is moving through this world, is within and around you, but you must become aware of that relationship yourself. Altering the body's frequency is simple when you understand your experience of doing so. That is, you are deliberately able to change the frequency of your body, and you realize, the body feels good with this food, the body feels good with this water, the body feels good with these trees and these birds and the earth under my feet, and the body feels good with these thoughts. The body feels good with these thoughts. You begin to understand your role as the conductor of conditions of the body and how it exists, how it does not exist. This is something that you yourself must become aware of. You can be instructed and given information and ideas about certain things and therefore possess the knowledge necessary, but if you do not understand how to apply that knowledge or even dare to do so, then you will not gain the experience to let you know if that knowledge is true or false. Every word that comes through here now, you can deem true or false, but you cannot deem it accurately true or false unless you understand the nature of your awareness in relation to the condition of your body. So a simple sound like oh, om, simple sounds can alter and change very precisely conditions in your body, even in the most direst of circumstance. If you understand how to alter the body's frequency precisely, then you can learn a great deal from suffering too, in that you can transcend it. You can transcend suffering, understanding vibration, and your ability to utilize such. There is a place that you move in consciousness where you are able to deliberately and very precisely have the body surrender itself to you, and it will endure conditions and circumstances beyond even the wildest imaginings of your smartest human beings on this planet. But you see these examples and you say, oh, he must have a special gift to be able to do that. No, he simply has cultivated a level of awareness that enables him to sit in those conditions or walk through those conditions or jump in those conditions, to be in those conditions that most would dare to not go into. If you understand what I'm saying, then you will know that the relationship you have with body is not to be subjective to it, but to be able to attune it to you, to align it to you, to adjust its frequency, so that you, when you wake up in that form, are pleased with it. So that when you go through your day, you are pleased with it. It is very simple. Adjusting your body's frequency requires very little knowledge, but a great deal of awareness. In other words, you must become very aware and sensitive to something that you expose your body to do, either through the external environment or the internal environment of your thoughts and your memories and your concerns, for they also affect and reattune the body. So you have but these two places, your external environment and your internal environment of the body, that can alter its frequency very rapidly. If you were to jump up and down in a very excited fashion, you would alter the frequency of your body, and your body would not volitionally do these things. It must be taught to do these things. You must engage it in a process so that you become aware that you are changing its frequency with sounds and movements and delight and water. You must become aware and conscious that you are attuning its frequency. The conditions, mental conditions that you find yourself struggling with, depression and anxiety, and these emotional runaways that you often find yourselves dealing with, are simply misattunements of either the internal environment or the external environment. That internal environment can be the historical elements of a person's experiential life in this physical dimension across many lifetimes. You can carry forth great memory, great experience over many lifetimes that will bear an influence on subsequent incarnations and how they will be tuned physiologically, how your body will be tuned physiologically. There are a few exceptions who are born into bodies that for many of you would seem very difficult and uncomfortable to exist in, but these ones raise and attune the body to its highest frequency in that state of what appears to be dysfunction, but they raise up above the function of the body. They raise it up, they attune it to them. They do not see it as something that restricts or governs the expression of their consciousness. They remain free as a soul, unbound by flesh, able to use even the minorest of movements to achieve the greatest outcomes in your world. If you are simply struggling at this time, I would offer you one place to begin. That is the most beautiful place to begin. It is the place that many of you run to when you find yourself disturbed or imbalanced by the world, internally or externally, that world. You find yourself going to sound, to music. Then find music. Then find sound that enlightens your body. Now, these sounds can come from the external, but be very mindful of what words, what information, what frequency you allow the body to become excited by, for there's much in this world that is twisted to be confusing you. However, the uttering of sounds from your body, the actual uttering of sounds from your body, ah, oh, e, a, very precise and specific sounds that you become very cognizant of as to how they alter and change your body. To sit and make sounds with your very own body is an act independent of the external environment. And from that, you can begin to gain a more personal and intimate awareness of how you change the frequency of your body, how you alter it with sound is the simplest starting point for you, for it does not require the world to be a certain way. It does not require that you have to be in a certain place with that body. For that process of deliberately generating sound, deliberate sound from the body, altering and changing its frequency, that you can directly experience the causal relationship between you and it, where you become aware that you can alter and change its frequency deliberately and precisely, varying the intensities and durations of sounds. Varying the duration and intensity of sounds will allow you to experience how high or how low, how expanded, how contracted you can direct the body's energy to become. And once you have an awareness of this, once you have the awareness that I alter the vibrational state of this body's existence simply by a sound, then you can become more attuned to what certain foods or what certain drinks or what certain environments are most conducive to raising the frequency of that body as well, so that both the internal and external environments begin to sustain it. When that relative position in consciousness is achieved, then you can begin to consider exploring the greater possibilities of those things that you think are so mystical and impossible, such as walking across fire or submerging yourself in cold, that these will no longer seem so miraculous, but rather quite normal and rather simplistic in their function, when you understand that you are the one that originates that function, and that the body simply complies with your intention to align it to a particular frequency. That means it would essentially adapt to any and all environments with that level of awareness and knowledge. This is all for today. Wow. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Let's see what we got here. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Grace. If you want to help this channel, you can use the super chat feature down below. Good morning, Kimberly. Hello, Danielle. Where are we all from? Let everybody know where you're from, folks. I hear too much and try my best to stay in peace. Is anyone else being interrupted also? Everything is so loud. Well, he says, even that is but a test. He says, even that gives you the opportunity. Even that gives you the opportunity to adjust the frequency. For what your ears can hear can be outward or inward. Why let your ears be distracted by the world around you when you can bend the ear inward? Turn your ears inward. Make the sound that is most divine to you. Make the sound that is most divine to you. And let your ear hear but only that. For your ears can hear what you desire them to hear. The bird, the wind, the waves. Your ears will hear what you desire them to hear. So would you not choose to desire them to hear the most divine of sounds? Ah, oh, ah. Would you not delight in having your ears hear the most divine of sounds? Love it. Yes. So we'll have time for a few questions today. Question from Danielle. I once had an unusually terrible headache that started after I heavily cried during a conversation with my mom. It lasted for a week and I couldn't sleep much. What was it about? Well, clearly your mother's conversation with her was not one that was very supportive of your vibrational nature. And if you're in communication with this now about the very same thing, then it is time to adjust that frequency that you still hold in your body from that event. You still hold that frequency in your body. Liberate that frequency. You have the ability to change frequency within you and therefore also change it around you. But simply changing the frequency of even the internal environment, but today is specifically for the conditions of body. If a vibration is life-serving and life-giving, your body will experience more delight in being. It will be more dynamic, more flowing, more exuberant if the vibration is of a higher note. Wow. Thank you, Danielle. Hi, Lauren from African homeland. Wonderful. Hello, Nancy. Question from Nancy. How do we hear messages from spirit? I feel them all the time, but don't know what they are telling me. This is a great question, Nancy, and I would encourage you, if you want to learn the process of that, you go to my website, williammichaelforbes.com, and sign up for our Mediumship 101 program, which begins in just a couple more weeks from this Saturday. So this Saturday coming, a week later, we start our Mediumship 101 program. So I encourage you to go sign up for that. There's a very simple process we bring people through where they can become attuned to those messages, interpret them, and then share them. Right? It's called Mediumship 101, and it's a masterclass in mediumship. Wonderful. Thank you for that. Question from Ruth. I had a complete meltdown. Any guidance? Well, he's laughing because he's saying it is obviously not complete. What is left over is what is asking the question. What is left over is asking the question. What happened? Again, if you do not understand the nature and meaning of your awareness and its relationship over the internal and external environment, as I have said earlier, understanding that you can alter and change frequency. For many of you, the simplest starting point is sound, making beautiful, delicious sounds. Every word, every note you can bring through that body will affect its frequency. You can do this even in the memory of the meltdown. You can alter the frequency of that energy upon the body, even in aligning to a note, a simple note such as ah, 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 can alter the frequency of the internal environment as well as the external environment. For when you utter a sound, you move creation. when you utter a sound, you are moving creation in this dimension. Wonderful. Thank you, Nancy. That's a great question. Question from Emma. What are those high-pitched sounds we sometimes experience? I always stop to listen, but not sure what to do with it. There are ranges of there are ranges of frequency from the lowest of sounds to the highest of sounds. And you can get entrapped by them or liberated by them. In your case, they are a distraction. Simply turn your awareness to a sound internal to you. Even the sound of silence, even the consideration of the sound of silence. There is also this energy that's happening on the planet today called Ascension. There's an actual movement, a massive movement in human collective unconscious as a result of the human collective unconsciousness interacting with higher potentials of energy that are being directed to Earth from the solar center, the sun. That there are actual frequencies emanating from the sun, and science measures them as gammic and cosmic and X-rays. Science measures them as those, but those are frequencies that have an effect on matter, but they also have an effect on consciousness, on you as a soul, as an awareness. Meditation becomes really, really important at this time, to be able to meditate and integrate these higher frequencies as easily as a mystic can walk across a bed of coals, or someone like Wim Hof can immerse himself in frigid water for hours. These frequencies can have an impact on us that will be non-detrimental to us if you understand how to alter the frequency of your body by changing the internal environment, as someone like Wim Hof does, as firewalkers do, as people that immerse themselves in boiling water do without being burned, or people that place their hands through molten metal and the hand does not burn. You can see all that on YouTube, watch all that. But understand that learning to control the mind through your awareness is key to how these higher frequencies are impacting you, because they can be very distracting, right? Unless you are able to focus your awareness very precisely. It's a great question. Again, learning to focus on silence has been really powerful for me personally, learning to focus on silence. Question from Jana. Does fasting from time to time raise the frequency? Yes, absolutely. He's saying yes, absolutely. Fasting is an essential part when you are doing it not for the sake of changing the body, but you're assuming authority over it. You're trying to establish a certain quality in the body, then you are on the right track. You're on the right track to this process of altering your body's frequency. But that is one of many different ways and means and methods by which you can learn to alter the frequency of your body. Laughter will alter the frequency of your body. Sadness will alter the frequency of your body. Joy will alter the frequency of your body. You become very cognizant then of how to regulate frequency externally and internally. And ultimately, the goal would be to become so proficient in your ability to control your internal environment that your external environment has literally no influence over what you will think or say or do or be. That you then become the one that is causing effects in this condition of time-space very deliberately and precisely. Wow, thank you. Great question. Question from Gina. My mother stopped eating and drinking over a week ago. Have I answered or supported what my mom needs? Is she waiting on so? Yes. Just give her permission to leave. It is time to give her permission to leave. There are so many of you still holding. So many of you do not understand this thing of movement of consciousness from matter to what you call energy. But that is something you must come to understand. There's nothing to fear beyond your flesh. But there is a consciousness that needs to be cultivated for the transition. And we would simply offer you this suggestion to let her know that her existence is not dependent on that body. Her existence is not dependent on that body. Her conscious awareness and the way she's cultivated it does depend upon the body. In other words, one can become more conscious and aware of what they are while they have a body much more readily than they can become aware and conscious of who they are without a body. So the body is a useful instrument for assisting you in cultivating your awareness that functions independent of the flesh. That is why body was made, so that you have the opportunity to cultivate self-awareness, which is actually independent of the body and able to induce changes very precisely and specifically in it. Wow. Thank you so much. Yes. Great. I think we're good here. One more question from Danielle. Any message from my dad? Again, the first words that came into my moment was that, I love you, son. Pretty good. Again, he's saying that pretty good, like, and I don't know, but he's saying it in that tone, pretty good. Again, I don't know what that means for you, Danielle, but that's, yes, and your love. Put your hand to your heart. Put your hand to your heart. And be present in your heart. He is with you now. He's with you right now. Wow. Thank you, Danielle. I think that's a really great place to end it. I want to thank Lord Krishna for being present with us today, and anybody else that was with us as well. I want to say thank you, everybody, for your time. If you want to support this channel, you go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. And I want to thank all of you for your time, your energy, your patience. Share this video, subscribe to the channel, give it a thumbs up, click the notification bell, and let other people hear what this is about so they can understand there's more to life than what they're being taught in books or schools. There's so much more to who you are than you're seeing with your eyes or hearing with your ears. So I want to wish you all much love. Have yourselves a great day, and I will see you on Friday, where we got Master Kutumi coming on Ascending Now. Ascending Now. That'll be this Friday, February the 25th, and I will see you then. Much love, everybody. Bye for now.